Hey guys, it's Corey and Tiffany, and we're the co-founders of Investor Life.
And we help investors scale their portfolios using other people's money. Fearless, welcome to another Tactical Tuesday.
Welcome to another Tactical Tuesday. We have a really cool topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. This, guys, I hope is a scenario that shows you the power of leveraging your money.
We help investors take their portfolios from 2 or 3, 5 properties maybe, up to 15, 20, 50 properties if that's what they're wanting to.
Really, the sky's the limit.
And we help investors scale their portfolio.
For our free weekly live trainings that we do over there on Facebook. Thanks for...
Hey guys, it's Corey from Investor Life, and Tiffany just stuck out her tongue at me. Okay.
Okay, that was a bad rendition. But guys, today, what wreck people in real estate? We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to make sure that it doesn't happen to you.
Welcome to Tactical Tuesday, everybody.
Welcome everybody on this beautiful fall day where we are anyways. It's beautiful. Hopefully you guys have had an awesome week. Big topic tonight. We have to keep on repeating it. We'll probably never get away from it. And that's all about why would anyone invest with me?
And you know what, that starts, and the reason we're talking about this is because it's a doubt that a lot of people have. It's a doubt that Tiffany and I had when we first got started investing in real estate. And for those of you that know a little bit about our story, and we'll get into it a little bit more, but we when we first got started, we had to raise money in order to buy real estate. We didn't have a choice. And but at the very beginning, we had a lot of doubt as to whether or not we could do it. Everybody else seemed to be able to do it, but we kind of thought, well, I don't think we can do it. And so tonight, that's really what we're going to talk about, instilling some belief that this is possible, guys, that if you're doing the right things and following the right steps and following a system, raising capital is not as difficult as you might think it is.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Thanks for saying hello as
Yeah.
you come on, guys, and let us know what part of the country you're from. I see Oshawa, Whitby, Spruce Grove, Moncton, Thornhill, Whitecourt,
I'm going to guess this
Mississauga,
is either
all across.
Hermel.
Eric, good job. Good job.
Aplex.
Love it. Eric's got an amazing 8-plex investment property opportunity that he's been sharing with lots of people. So I love it, Eric. That's great.
All right. So yeah, jump on, say hello. So that's great. From Barrie, Ontario. Perfect. Awesome. Nice to see you. So guys, you know, I remember, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a post that, you know, had a lot of traction in Fearless of someone saying like, why would anyone invest with me when they could just do it themselves? Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's a big question that we find. Hey, Angie, XYE. You know, that's a big question that we find is why would anyone invest with us when they could do it themselves? So let's just deal with that right away. And let's get this out there. That was one of my biggest things is they don't need me to invest. And here I sit, you know, 20 years later, looking actively for working partners, not to be the working partner. I am done being the working partner. It's time for me to be investing, you know, more passively. So, you know, we used to stand on stages and ask the room, who in here wants to invest in real estate but does not want to do any of the work? And then who in here wants to invest in real estate but does want to do some of the work or all of the work to be the working partner,
doesn't want to put in their own money.
Yeah. And we did it time and time again with hundreds of people in the audience. And it was about 30% of the room consistently would put up their hat and say, I want to invest, but I don't want to do the work. And yes, I'm willing to part with my money to someone else in order to do that. So it's out there, guys. And today we're going to talk a little bit about belief in that crazy thought that there are these people out there that want to give us their money.
So let's just start, guys, with I want you to be active tonight, okay, in the chat. And I see it's already going crazy. So that's
well.
awesome. So
It's all of our igniteds.
guys, I want to
You guys are
know
the
who
best.
here is right now interested in raising capital. So that means you're either looking for a money partner, or you are looking for somebody to invest with doing maybe private lending, or maybe you're applying for a mortgage right now, but you're looking for capital to invest in real estate. If that describes you,
Put a 1 in the chat.
put a yes or a heck yeah or a 1, whatever you want in the chat to let us know that that describes you, because there are a lot of people right now wanting to invest in real estate using other people's money. And to do that, you need to raise capital from some location, from some other person, from another investor. So if that describes you, I want to see it in the chat. Okay.
Look at this. Here's all our igniteds saying always.
Me, heck yeah. Yes.
Heck yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Sarah.
So that
Sean,
establishes something, guys,
Mary.
that yes, you're looking for capital. Okay. Now, who here out of all of you guys that are trying to raise capital, okay, who here has had the doubt in their mind at some point, or asked the question in their mind at some point, why would somebody invest with me? Have you ever thought that? Have you ever had that doubt? Okay, I'm going to wait now. So put a 2 in the chat if that describes you, or put another yes or another heck yeah if that describes you, that you've had that doubt that why would somebody invest with me? Because, we look around and we see, successful so-and-so, or we see, oh, that investor over there. Well, yeah, everybody's just going to invest with them and not with me.
Like, they're a bigger fish, right? They already have the credibility. They already have the, they've been networking now for how long on Facebook and with all these different groups, and they know everybody and they have opportunities all the time. One example, and I'm going to just say, like, we'll give you an example. Grant, has an amazing track record, has an incredible view of investing and learning, and why wouldn't everyone invest with Grant? And are there tons investing with Grant? Yes, for sure. Is he a great option? Absolutely amazing. But why would someone go to someone else that isn't Grant, right? You ever thought that? Why would someone invest with me when they could invest with Grant or Andrea or Sarah or Melanie? We all say these things because it's that self-doubt that we all have. But let me tell you, Sarah, Melanie, Andrea, Eric,
Grant,
every one of them not only has sat in that position before, but has gotten past that position. They have raised money. So let's do that for fun. So who in here? So number 3, you're going to put a 3 in the chat. Who here has had that doubt at one time, but has now proven that they can raise money? Let's put that in the chat, guys. And because today is all about belief for us, when we saw other people around us doing it and we went, really? Like, okay, this is actually happening. This is actually happening in the real world. Then maybe we can do it. But we didn't have the belief in ourselves yet, but we did have the belief of knowing it could be done. Look at this, guys. All right. Look at all these people that are saying, yes, we have now raised $3 million. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to assume you're one of our Ignited members, I would think. And we've got Melanie, got Grant. Yeah, look all these people saying, yes, we had that fear. Yes, we had that thought.
The fear is real.
Yes,
the fear
we stand
is real
here today as having successfully gotten through that mind block and raised capital ourselves.
For those of you,
good job, guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
amazing job. And,
Sylvie, hey Sylvie.
Well, there you go. Yeah, awesome, guys.
$3 million, baby.
And that's where it all starts. It all starts with learning, educating ourselves. We start finding out about this real estate investment. We start seeing, okay, well, there's people that invest with people, and we start seeing how things work. We start educating ourselves. We start learning the circles, and getting to know other investors and seeing what they're doing. And it all just sort of starts to ramp up and to change. And so tonight, that's really what we're going to focus on, or what are some practical real life steps, some things that we can do to make sure that if we are wanting to raise capital, that it eventually just starts becoming easy to raise capital. You know, at the very beginning, we had the properties and we found great properties, but
that takes a
then we
while to
didn't
get
have the
going.
investors to go forward to buy those properties. We ended up making it work one way or the other. But the fact is that it was kind of like we had the opportunities, but we didn't have the investors. And then over time, that kind of changed a little bit, and we had the investors and we couldn't find enough properties. And
Chicken
so
egg.
it can absolutely start to snowball once you get started. And once you do it once, it's just like anything else. It's like buying your first investment property. Once you do one, the second one is easier. It's the same thing with raising capital. Once you do it once, the next one becomes easier. The next one after that becomes easier. And we might still have doubt, like Melanie has mentioned a couple of times here, that you still kind of doubt it every time you go to do it. But when it works, that just helps to create that belief, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what does it take for an investor to say yes? What do you guys think? Is it the right market? Is it the right deal? Is it cash flow, or is it the upswing that might come?
So let's throw that in the chat, guys.
What do you guys think?
What do you think?
And we know that Ignited, so it's okay. You can put the right answers in. That's all good. We know that you guys know. But for those of you that are unsure, what does it take to get an investor to say yes, do you think? So throw that in the chat. There we go. There's one.
And
yeah.
Okay, here we go.
There we go.
I love it.
Me. Exactly, Sean. People are going to invest in you because you're a long-time business owner. You're a long-time entrepreneur. You've had successful businesses. You're a mortgage broker. You understand. You make complicated things really simple. Yes, Sean, they're going to invest in you because of all those things. Trust. Absolutely. Oops, the right person. Okay, so far it's me, trust, the right person, trust in relationships. Yes, Jupita, who's raised money for both single family and multifamily in small towns, Saskatchewan.
Alberta or Saskatchewan? Around
Saskatchewan.
the border.
Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a relationship needs to exist first. So again, relationship equals me, right? Okay, good. Mary, the right deal for sure. Those things definitely factor in. Similar values, again, kind of that personality bit, right? So we're going transparency, honesty, good communication. So guys, in case you don't see the pattern, we're just gonna bring it all out. It is you. So those of us who have been raising money for a while now, sometimes we get a little bit away from the basics. We forget to keep on. It's like the salesman who's so busy selling, Xerox machines that they forget to create new contacts and to do their cold calling. And it's the cold calling that got them into, the sales part in the first place. But you get so busy, you forget. So if you're raising capital and you're finding that, maybe it's slowed down a little bit, or if you're just starting out, or if you know that you're going to have a project coming up, or even if you don't, because stuff lands in your lap and then all of a sudden you're raising capital on a dime. Ask Melanie, right? So, when you have all of these things going on, you forget sometimes to go back to basics. And so that's what we're talking about tonight, is those basics, that trust, those relationships, all of that kind of stuff, as well as some other things that we're going to talk about.
So you guys have thrown a lot of the correct answers into the chat. And, I think that if we were to ask this question to a bunch of newbies that hadn't been through this before, hadn't taken our boot camps before, hadn't heard these things before, or raised capital before, the answers would probably be a lot different. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, well, you need to have something under market value, mm-hmm. or you need to have something that is a great deal, or you have
guaranteed,
to have something that, huge cash flow. And those are the reasons that somebody would invest with you. But as you guys have put in the chat, those aren't the things that an investor is looking for.
And guys, take it from the pros. These guys in the chat are the guys who sat there within the last couple of years, sat in your spot saying, how am I ever going to be the person that actually raises money? And now many of them have been there, done that, raised hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and never thought that they would. So take it from them because that's a system that's been tried, tested, and true. Take it from them. What works? It's that relationship, it's that trust, all of those things.
So 4 main things we're going to zero in on here. I'm going to ask you guys 4 specific questions. And if you have the right answers to these 4 questions, then you can raise capital. Okay. So this will help you build the belief that you can raise capital. So question number 1, I want you to ask yourself, are you someone who really cares about an investor's dollars? Think about that for a second. Are you somebody who cares about the money that somebody invests with you? Okay. Think about that, because that's a very, very important thing that any investor, anybody that's going to invest their hard-earned dollars with somebody, wants to be made sure of. That person cares about my money, that they're not just going to spend it willy-nilly, that they're not just going to, oh, well, let's just go and spend it over here or spend it over there. They're going to try to give me the best return possible because they actually care about my money.
So interestingly, some of these are both our greatest asset and our greatest downfall, because when you come into Fearless, we ask you these 3 questions before you can get into Fearless. And one of them is what is, your biggest fear regarding investing? And for many people, it's losing your money or someone else's money. And so when you care, what happens is it can kind of paralyze us. It can hold us back as well. But as you can see, of the successful people that are actually raising money today in today's market, a lot of these things are, standard. This is very, very normal that people think about and care about this, but get held back by it sometimes too. So
you're right, Nicole. You can tell when someone doesn't really care, when they're just raising money because they need to raise money.
Absolutely.
There's a difference. And so when somebody cares about your hard-earned dollars, that makes a difference. So that's question number 1. Now question number 2.
Just wait before you move on. So if you ask yourself that, would that be important to you as an investor? Would that be important? Absolutely, it would. So that's got to be important to people that you're looking to borrow from, right? Yeah. Okay.
Question number 2. Are you somebody who will do what it takes to make an investment successful? Now, let's just talk about what that means, to do what it takes. How would you define that, Tiff? Like, if I said to you, are you willing to do what it takes to make this successful? What does that mean to you?
Well, I was thinking about 13217.
Okay, no,
yeah. I'm like, that's funny.
I was thinking about Goldeye.
Okay. So yeah, there's lots of examples that we could give, but certainly this one property, I remember years and years ago, we bought this place. It was our first joint ventured property. And, we had given the budget numbers for renovations, I think at like $2,500. And when we got in there, we had been in it before, but just briefly, we realized the extent of the nicotine damage. Mm-hmm. And that nicotine damage needed to be like remediated.
We couldn't just paint, right?
We could not just paint. It was stuck on the walls and in the cupboards and everywhere. So, we spent a good week with a garden sprayer,
spraying down the
TSP walls
and with all that other stuff.
And then scrubbing off the thick yellow nicotine stuff. Was that part of what we promised to do as a joint venture partner? No, that's not something we ever imagined we would be doing. But was it something that needed to be done? And there was no money to do it. Therefore,
we had to do it.
Guess
step
who
in ourselves.
It falls on. Roach problems. That is one of the grossest things for me is insects and having to go into these places and place traps, because just to pay someone to come in and do that, so they had to change them out every 3 days, and to pay someone to do that, it was $100 every 3 days. Well, you don't budget for that. So where are you the person that's willing to go in and get the job done, regardless of whether or not you promised that you would or said you would,
or whether you want to
or whether you want to or not? And
Yeah.
Is that important to you? Just ask yourself, if you were giving someone your money, Would that be important to you?
Would you want them to do what it takes to make that investment successful? So that's question number 2, guys. Who here now, throw it in, and I see in a few yeses and very important and all of that sort of stuff. Nicole says, I was thinking about the flood in the middle of the night. That's the one I was thinking of, Nicole.
Minus 30.
Things that, you don't have to do according to the JV contract. It's not something you need to do. You could hire somebody to go in. You could wait till the next day. You could do certain things. But here's the difference, guys, is if you care about your investors' money, if you're willing to do what it takes to make that investment successful, then you go above and beyond what you need to do. And that's kind of the importance. And you know what? When an investor is talking to you and sees that you're willing to go above and beyond what you need to do, and you're willing to really care about their investment dollars, that makes a huge difference as to whether somebody says, yes, I want to invest with you, or where they say, you know what, I'm not really ready right now, maybe in the future, or maybe I'll look elsewhere.
So for those of you that have no experience and you're sitting here thinking like, okay, yeah, that's easy to say when you've got experience and you know how to put the roach traps down, or you know how to, paint and do this or whatever, you know how to manage properties, all that kind of stuff. It's easy for us to sit here and say that now, and you're right. But let me just tell you a little bit about us. So if you don't know who we are, we've been investing now for, it'll be 20 years here soon, that we've been investing and managing our own properties. However, when we started, we were 24 years old and we had no experience, none. So it's easy to stand here now saying stuff when you have the experience, of course. But we had no experience either. We had no confidence, none at all for me, and had every doubt in the world of why this wasn't going to work for us. Yet we were able to raise millions of dollars in investments to buy real estate. We were able to do all these things, wonderful things for a lot of our joint venture partners. And all of that, came from having no experience. But let me ask you, so far, do you care about people's money? And is that important? Yeah. So can you do that part? I think so, right? Maybe you don't. And you're like, not really. Okay, that's all right. But if you do, and you're sitting there going, yeah, I do care. I don't want to lose someone else's money. Awesome. You're already qualified as a working partner. Okay. That's one point that you're qualified on. There's more that you have to be, but that is one big one. Will you do what it takes? Are you that person that will jump in and, get dirty and make it happen when it needs to happen? Is that anything to do with experience in real estate? Nothing to do with that. But if you're willing to jump in and then look at how many things you already qualify. That's 2 out of the 4 that you already qualify on that we're going to talk about here tonight.
Okay. So number 3, ask yourself this question. 3rd question, guys, and be real with this. Are you someone that they can trust with their money? Trust. So let's talk about that for a second. A couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. You know what? Nobody's really going to notice. We could say that it was spent on this. These are some things that we may feel, or we may think, maybe not. Can somebody trust us with their money? So guys, ask yourself that question. Are you someone that they can trust? Are you someone that is going to keep a good account of where the money is going? Are you someone that is going to keep good records of where the money is going, what the money is being spent on? Very, very important that somebody trusts you. And we talk about that all the time in our boot camp. The like and trust. The importance of people knowing you, liking you, and trusting you. And that's what it takes for somebody to invest with you.
So it doesn't mean, for me anyways, that trust is okay. Well, I wouldn't steal, so I guess that therefore I'm trustworthy. To me, it goes far beyond that. into things like, how do you manage your own money? So, are you going to go to the store and, pay $500 for the same thing that is, a couple blocks down for $100 less, but you don't want to take the time and energy to go get it for less or look for it for less? How do you manage your money? Because how you manage your money is probably how you're going to manage an investor's money. And so how you manage your money, if you look at your, track record in that area, does that have anything to do with real estate? No. But how have your credit cards been paid? How has your savings gone? All of those things. How is your credit score? All of those things come together to kind of say whether or not, you are trustworthy with your money. That's a big plus that you can use credibility wise in saying, hey, look at what I can prove my credit cards are paid on time. I can prove I've got a good credit score. I can prove I've got a good relationship with my bank. All of those things, again, nothing to do with real estate. So why would they invest with you when you have no experience? They're not looking for experience in real estate. They're looking for trustworthiness and experience in life. So what can you think of in your life that you've proven that you've done well that transfers over to real estate that you think would be a good thing to talk to a money partner about? Think about those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. So 3 questions we've gone through so far, guys. And as you can see that a lot of these questions, you don't have to have a lot of money in the bank. You don't have to have
experience.
This is just real life stuff that you need to be the type of person that somebody can trust, count on to do what it takes when it's necessary, and someone who cares about their investors' money. Now, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and, I just want to say, not afraid to be an open book. And you know what this really reminds me of? And we talk about this in Ignited. We have a credibility package template that you use. And in that credibility package, we have a part in there for, let's say that your credit isn't perfect. Let's say that maybe something isn't the best on your credit. Are you an open book, or are you going to hide it? Mm-hmm. That right there can really tell someone about your character. So in our case, when we were starting to raise money, we had a ding on our credit that did not look very good. But instead of hiding it, or instead of running around and being like, trying to make ourselves look better than we were, we just said, hey, listen, just wanted to let you know that if you looked into us, you'd probably find out about this. And this is what happened. This is a situation. This is how we fixed it. Hopefully that doesn't affect how you feel about it. But if it does, that's okay. We completely understand. Being an open book is so important. If there's things that you don't want to share, that's okay. But just know that that is probably going to affect your relationship with people, because people like to see openness. The good, the bad, the ugly, none of it matters as long as there's honesty. So none of it matters, but most of it won't matter as long as there's honesty. So.
And that actually leads us into our 4th point, guys, that ties in really well with all of these. And that comes down to communication. Communication. Are you somebody, and this is the 4th question, guys, are you somebody that will communicate clearly with them when they're concerned about something or when they have questions about something? Will you communicate clearly? And, we all know of someone or some company or something that we've inquired on. And, when the questions get tough, they don't answer our questions anymore, or we stop hearing from them, or
they say they'll get back to you with an answer and they never do. Right? Now, how do you feel about them? What kind of a relationship or trust fostering does that bring?
And all of these points that we're talking about tonight, guys, tie into one another. If we communicate clearly, and if somebody is concerned about something and we give them the honest answer, that helps to build trust. Does everything run perfectly smooth in a joint venture and in any investment property? No, there's certain things that go sideways. There's certain things that turn upside down. There's certain investments that have really great days and have really bad days. But if we're communicating with them and telling them all the good all the time, but none of the bad, or none of the things that are going sideways, then they just think everything's rosy, peachy keen. And then when it comes down to it, maybe they want to sell or refinance or something like that. And then now you got to tell them the true story. What kind of relationship is that going to create? Not very good. And so it comes down to clear communication. And when somebody has questions for you or concerns about maybe your investment or what you're buying or the type of investment opportunity you're offering, do we clearly communicate those answers in a way that they can understand clearly? If we can do that, that is super, super important to securing financial partners or raising capital.
So just wanted to point this out. I've been doing private lending for about 3 years, and everyone I've dealt with has been amazing, from having extra questions, being helpful, and very open conversations. And that's awesome, because that's what we want to hear. And that's why they became the people that your borrowers, the people that you lent to, right? Because of all of those things. So keep in mind, guys, what we're talking about tonight is why someone would invest with you, especially when you have no experience. Why someone's going to invest with you is because of who you are and how you treat them, how you've been, all of those things. So if you have no experience and therefore maybe have a lack of confidence, just ask yourself, do I care? Okay, most people care. So let's say you say yes. Would I do what it takes to make things happen and jump in if I had to? Yes. Can someone trust me? Am I going to work so hard for their money, maybe harder than I work for my own? If that's a yes, and will I communicate well? So do I answer emails? Do I answer questions? Do I get back to them when I say I'm going to? If I say I'll know by Friday and I don't know by Friday, do I let them know, hey, I don't know, but I'll still get back to you when I do know. But today's Friday. I said I'd be in touch. I'll be in touch. So these are all huge things that every single one of us can do. Every single one of us maybe doesn't have experience, or maybe have a job that, our skills are easily transferable into real estate or whatever it might be. Some of us don't. Some of us are starting from scratch like we were. We were young and useless. But, what do we have? What did we have? And what I would say to a lot of people when I would be talking to them, I would say we don't have many properties yet, but we're young. We're driven, and we're going to make this happen. And we know that. We just don't know exactly how, but we're willing to do whatever it takes to make this happen. And that drive would just really attract people, because people saw it in our eyes. And then, of course, that transparency, right? For sure.
So that's really how we would describe somebody that can raise capital. Those 4 things that we just talked about and Tiff just recapped. If you answer yes to those things, you're trustworthy, you care, you're willing to do what's necessary, you communicate well. If that's the case, you can raise capital. Period. End of story. It's possible. Now, the next stage, though, that we're going to talk about is, what are some things that we can do to now start raising capital? What are some things that will help us? If we answered yes to all of those questions, okay, then we can do it, period. But what are some things to get us going to start raising capital? Okay, do we want to hear this? Do we want to talk about this? Yeah. Okay. All right. So what helps us to remove some of that doubt in our minds? Number one thing, guys, is learning from others. And, being on a training like we're doing tonight and seeing everybody's comments, being within Fearless, and seeing how others are raising capital, seeing that it is possible, seeing that if others can do it, well, so can I. Those sorts of things, we can learn from others and how they're doing it, but we can also learn from others in the mistakes they're making. And that comes down to networking. And so the bottom line is, the more we network, the more we get to know other investors, the more conversations we have, the more we learn from how they're doing things, and we learn from each other as a group here within Fearless. And of course, our Igniteds know this as well. The more we network, the more successful we will be at raising capital. So that's step number 1.
So, and Melanie said it in the very, very beginning of tonight's discussion. She said something about surround yourself with those people so that we can raise each other up, because a rising tide will raise all boats in the water. And so we all want to work toward everyone's success. And when we do that, not, cramming away our success for us and not keeping our contacts for ourselves and all of that kind of stuff doesn't work. It doesn't work in this small circle. What works is having a surrounding of experience, of support, of people that care, of people that have been there. All of those things come together and we all rise together. So it's so important that we do that. Yeah, I like this. Being newbie is totally okay. We all had to start somewhere, but just the attitude that you're willing to jump in and continue to educate yourself and surround yourself with the right people. Love it. Yeah. I love all these summarizing. This is awesome. Thank you guys. Yep. This is exactly what we have in our notes, Grant. Your network is your net worth. So if you have a small network, you're going to have a small net worth. And it's the exact opposite is true as well. We have to get out there and get rolling. That's what we have to do. Get talking to people. Does that mean that we all have to be extroverted? No. Does that mean we all have to enjoy that? No. But does it mean that we have to do it? Yes. And can you find a way to do it within your comfort zone, within what makes you feel okay to do it? Absolutely, you can. Oh, I'm just going to throw in this, little plug from Melanie, all about Ignited. So Ignited is our mentorship program where we have all these rock stars that you're seeing. A lot of them are on tonight. And, all at the end of the day, Ignited is awesome. It is. You can come and ask your questions. You'll get so many responses. You get so many different viewpoints. But at the end of the day, it's that we all believe in rising together.
Yeah.
And so it's all about helping each other, because when we help each other, we all win. And we really believe that in Ignited.
And what you're saying now ties in with our second point. So number one practical thing you guys can do if you want to raise capital is to network. Number two is to educate yourself. And this comes down to, it doesn't mean you have to go back to university. It doesn't mean this takes 8 years of education, but do you have to understand the lingo? Do you have to understand our investor world and the way that we talk and the way that an investor wants to be talked to? Do you understand our Canadian way of saying these things versus how it might be taught in the US? If we're trying to get
tax
investors
liens,
from Canada.
Auctions, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So education in real estate investment is very, very important. Do we understand the concepts behind it? Do we understand how to figure out cash flow, how to figure out ROI, how to figure out the important numbers when it comes to real estate? So we do need to have a level of education. Now, does that mean that we have to have a university degree to raise capital? That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is understand the real estate investment world. How can you do that? Well, we just talked about our Ignited program. That's one area where you can get educated.
And just
here with us every single Tuesday. It's
date.
Absolutely free. That's coming up. Don't say it yet. Don't say it
but
yet.
We're not confirmed. It's just to save the date, right? Like it's
yes,
just
just save the date.
For boot camp.
Hey, that's coming later. Don't say anything yet. You're breaking the unbelievable.
Okay, sorry. All right.
Wow.
I am the person who
cannot
tells
keep a secret.
Well, it's not a secret, but I do tell the punchline before the joke, all the time. So yeah.
We were just about to get to that near the end.
Sorry.
Anyways.
Okay, go.
Okay, education, super important, guys. Make sure you're educated. Make sure you know the lingo. And here's a key point when it comes to education. If someone asks a question and you don't know the answer, don't give a fake answer. Don't just say, I don't know that yet. I'm still, I'm going to find that out for you. I'll get back to you.
So here's
simple as that.
Here's the beauty of being surrounded by people that know the answers, is you can say, you know what, I don't know, but my mentors know, or I know someone that does, and I will get in touch with them and I will get back to you. It's okay to say that you don't know, but it's not okay to fake that you know when you don't.
And Tiff just mentioned point number 3. So boy, we're just tying these in so well together. Next time I'm going to have her look at her outline before we do it. So yes, how can we be trustworthy, guys, is by doing exactly what Tiff just said. By, I don't know the answer to that, but here's the key, guys. Someone on my team does know the answer to that question. So if you are within a network like Ignited, or you are within you have built a team, you have your realtor, your lawyer, your accountant, you have that team surrounding you, and someone asks you a question, You don't need to know the answer. There's so many questions I don't know the answer to. Tiff doesn't know the answer to, but we've been investing. We've raised millions of dollars in capital. Why? Because we have the team around us that if we don't know the answer, we will go and get it. So it's as simple as that. And that adds to trustworthiness as well.
All
Okay,
right. Point
and-
number 4. Last one. We already talked about this,
Yeah.
but we're just going to reiterate one more time, is that communication. If you say you're going to do something, do it.
And one way you can do that earlier as well was by building a solid credibility package. So when somebody does want to invest with you, this is one of the first questions we ask our Ignited members is, where are you at in building your credibility package? Because it's super, super important. And this is a package, guys, that you send to prospective investors to show them who you are, what you're all about, and what opportunity they have. And of course, that's a template that we have within our Ignited program. So those 4 things, last time we'll recap them, is number 1, network. Number 2, educate yourself. Number 3, be trustworthy. Don't answer questions you don't know the answer to. Communicate clearly is number 4, and have a solid credibility package. Those 4 practical steps will help you to raise capital. Okay.
All right. Am I allowed to speak?
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I literally
Actually,
read,
no. What if I said no?
I read that. Well, you know how that would go. I read that literally at the same time as I was like, yeah, I should just zip it.
Are you allowed to speak?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, that's it for Tuesday training. However, we do have an announcement.
Yes.
Well, I
yes.
wasn't doing it as a big announcement.
Well, this was going to lead in,
yet,
guys.
is it?
We have confirmed dates, and so
we do?
now we do not have our. Yes, I'm confirming them tonight. We're doing it one way or the other.
All right.
Okay, guys.
With or without our team.
One
I
way
guess.
or the other, we are doing it. The dates are going to be for our next boot camp. So our last boot camp was Palm Springs in February, right?
I think so.
So it's been since February since we've had a boot camp.
And we're sorry.
And we have a big wait list already built up, guys. So if you are interested in coming to our next boot camp, the dates are going to be October 19.
No. What?
October
21, 22.
21 and 22. October 21, 22. So write those dates down, mark them aside. Don't book anything else for those dates. October 21, 22. That will be our next boot camp.
And what is boot camp? What is boot camp? Actually, Ignited, you guys say what boot camp is. What is boot camp? For us, I'll say what it is for us. Boot camp is kind of that first few steps in getting yourself ready to raise capital. It is mindset stuff for sure, but it's also the tactical. Okay, what do you actually have to do? How do you start those conversations with people? You're saying I have to network. Yeah, well, I don't know what the heck to say, and it's so uncomfortable. Okay, so what do you say? Here's what to say. Here's an example. Here's a role play. Like, let's get into the tactical stuff of what do we need to do to make this happen. Okay, so boot camp is a kick in the butt. I love it. Perfect. Perfect.
And yes,
Sylvie.
it will be Cheryl Lee, you're asking, is it a Friday, Saturday? So it will be a Friday evening, and it will be a mostly all day Saturday. So that's what boot camp will be. We will probably have bonus sessions as well, aside from those 2 dates.
But the real meat and potatoes
the real
are going to
meat
be
and
on
potatoes
these
will be Friday
days.
evening
All right.
and Saturday.
And you know what? We hear this all the time. Boot camp is life-changing, which is awesome. We hear all kinds of people. Yeah, so yeah, you already answered that. Sorry. We hear all kinds of people that, have been able to go out and raise capital straight after, go out and kickstart their investing careers. There is always a deal on Ignited at boot camp. So of course we will offer that to you as well. But you know what, guys, like boot camp is just fun. And for even like people like Sarah and Nicole and Grant and Melanie and Sylvie, who've been to so many of them, like it's amazing to me that you guys still show up. But Marie Sept, I remember last time she was like, "Are you kidding me? This is my like reignition every single time." And she's an Ignited member who's rocking and rolling.
One of our OGs.
One of our OGs, yeah. So it's just a really good, simple, step-by-step, fun time. We just really want to get you.
Whether
guys
you're new, whether
going,
you're
so.
a veteran, the point of it is to kind of get you reignited. And guys, we've kind of had a lot of us have had a bit of a lazy summer, and we need something to kick us in the butt again and get moving toward our goals, toward our dreams, toward our vision and our why. And that's what boot camp is designed to do, is to give you that kick in the butt again and get us all moving again. So October 21, 22, make sure that those dates are scratched off on your calendar for our boot camp. We do not have our sign up page done yet, but as you can see, Julie already put it in the chat to get on our wait list, and everybody that's on our wait list will get our early bird opportunity. So get on their wait list as soon as you can. Do it tonight, guys. So go to investorlife.com. She put it in the chat. I can't see it anymore, but down. Yeah, here. Anyways,
I was too busy reading Leanne's comments.
Okay.
Because Leanne, you know what? Certainly feel free if you ever need an introduction to someone. You know, tell us what you're looking for, what you want. We can introduce you to a few different people that you can interview. We do that on a very regular basis. So
just go to Investor Life, find our boot camp. You'll jump onto our wait list, and you will be emailed as soon as we have our early bird opportunity available.
And Shirley, just wanted you to know, so usually we started at 11 a.m. Eastern time and we're done by about 4 p.m. Eastern time. Not sure if that helps or hinders with your oldest birthday that day, but just thought I would let you know. So there we go. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yep. And it is virtual. Thanks. Where will boot camp be? Virtual. Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to love you and leave you. Igniters, we're going to see you over in Laser tonight.
In about 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes. And yeah, next week we're going to talk about specifically with mortgage, what do you call them?
Mortgage brokers.
Mortgage brokers, thank you. We're going to talk to Sean Sullivan and Sean MP, and we're going to talk about specifically how do you use the mortgages that you have to your advantage. So if it's variable, what does it mean? Does your payment go up or down? How can you amortize them out? Can you not? All those kinds of things. We're going to go into a few specific examples of what happens to our mortgages over time and what we need to do to make sure that we're getting the best out of them that we can be. So I'm going to talk to two of our mortgage specialists next week. So
all right, guys.
See you guys.
Have a great evening, and we will see you